Hi, Joy. It's nice. I'm great. It's great seeing you. Okay, well, this space initially started off just as a memorial garden. And then I wanted to not just make it a memorial garden for my parents who died here, both died here. Um, I wanted to look at some of the elders that had been in this community and put little plaques for them. And so I had some people who had been here generations ago remember the old chicken man, or remember Miss Sewell or Miss Brown that did Bible study, or just different people. And so it started off more intimate. And then there was an opportunity to join a program called Cleveland Garden Walk. And I called when Fairfax decided to join. And I called, and not too many people had called back to say that they were interested in joining. And so I called and they said, well, there's not that many gardeners in Fairfax, and so it's too late to join. And I think that was my impetus to let them know that there are plenty of gardeners. They just didn't call. And so I called the president of Garden Walk, which was Marie Kietrich at the time. I think she still is. She's about to retire. But I said, if I can get just 5 people, can Fairfax be part of the Garden Walk? She said, yeah, maybe 5, 7 or whatever. So the first year we had, I think it was 5. It might have been 7. And then the next year we had 11. And then we had 20. And now we have 30. And really the goal is to beautify, unify, and to encourage people to embrace the wealth of our neighborhoods. Now, I happen to be in Fairfax, and Fairfax is a historic neighborhood. I believe every neighborhood is a historic neighborhood. So not just the Little Italy or the Tremont. Fairfax had the first African-American millionaire on, he owned a gas station on 93rd and Cedar. We still have the home of Jesse Owens. Langston Hughes, his home still exists. It needs to be revitalized. But every neighborhood is a historic neighborhood if we learn the history and if we embrace it. And so my goal as a retired educator is to inform, to encourage people to know their history. Like this neighborhood was named after an African-American woman named Florence Bundy Fairfax. She was a chemistry major and an awesome swimmer and an advocate for youth. And so she did a lot of programming to make sure kids play games so that they can socialize, because games are one way to socialize. And I really tried to, my dream is for it to be a venue where kids play not on the computer, but they play chess and Scrabble and some quiet games where I tutor. I'm a retired math teacher, so my husband's a retired reporter, and so we like to, and we don't charge, but I'll tutor. I help. I'm just a supporter for math, for reading, and for word expression. But, so Garden Walk is a tool that's used to bring some light to Fairfax. But I think wherever any of us are, we can be change agents by bringing light to wherever we are. So someone said, cast your buckets where you are, and I'm sure some of you know that quote, and that's what we're doing. I think Garden Walk started in 2011, sometime around that time. Actually, what happened was there was Cleveland Heights already had Garden Walk, and there's a woman from South Africa, Jan, and I can't remember her last name. She started it in Cleveland. But Garden Walk exists in a lot of neighborhoods, especially suburbs. Okay, so it was great for her to initiate having it start here. I don't know how many communities did it. This year there were 12. Um, Usually there were communities on the west side. So you had your Tremont, Ohio City, Detroit Shoreway, and a number of others. You had Glenville as well, but most of them were on the west side. So I'm glad that the east side is getting represented a little bit more. Little Italy has always been on it as well. But like I said, that neighborhood is considered a historic neighborhood. My passion is to remind people that this too is a historic neighborhood. I dream of there being a museum for Fairfax. It's just a wealth here. And then I dream of people doing that in almost every neighborhood. Um, and then just combining that information as we talk about the wealth of our cities. Okay. Okay. The word wall. I'm blessed to be in a neighborhood that has that's near so many things. The reason my parents moved here was it was near so many things. After the riots, a lot of people moved, and so, um, but there's a place at Case where you can learn for free how to use some different tools, and I like to use the tools to create. To encourage people to think about their wealth. I think everybody is a change agent, and everybody should strive to feel empowered enough to make an impact. We can all stay on purpose. Now, this is very strange for me to be sitting still, but the word wall. I've said some of the things that are there, but if you look at one of the signs, it says every neighborhood is historic, and I've already expounded on that. I told you a little bit about the history of Fairfax, Florence, Fairfax. Um, there's a quote that says, "Let your faith be bigger than your fears." I think if you have a faith to live by, none of us serve a wimpy God. He really has empowered us all, and so I think having faith and just the fact that you were put here to make an impact can lead one to make that impact. But the word wall has. Can I stand up or? Um, the word wall. It just has different quotes, and there's a tree that maybe we'll walk past if we walk through it, but it has a lot of quotes by Nelson Mandela, by Amanda Gorman, by just different folks. So when you walk through this garden, I want you to be enlightened. I want you to think about what those quotes mean, and think about ways that we can all grow. And so so it's a garden, but there's lots of words around if you tune into them. So anytime people come to the word walk, at least this year, because I didn't even have this tree or this word wall last year. Every year I do something different. But the word wall is also a reflection that I'm a retired educator, because if you teach, you should have a word wall. you have words with related to your content. Now, this doesn't look like my geometry word wall or algebra, but it looks like an emphasis on what I'm trying to reinforce right now. So I'm calling this an urban farm and venue, and some of the activities that will be here this month will be a speaker who's going to talk about beekeeping. We're going to have an art person who will help us upcycle some things that we already have and beautify them and take them back to our space. Hopefully not buy anything, just repurpose it. There'll be a guy from the Department of Agriculture, and hopefully he'll tell us some different opportunities that are around. And as like so many people, I'm a cancer survivor, and our bodies go through different challenges, and I'm learning to eat a healthy way. So I got lots of organic vegetables. I used to, and gardening is a is an ongoing journey where you're learning different things. When I first started gardening, I was just obsessed with gardening. I would plant everything, but I don't eat everything. And so now I mainly have kale and collards and a few tomatoes, but just different things that we eat. And we'll do, when people come, when I have gatherings, they might bring food or whatever, but I'll also always have nutritional things. There'll be salads. There'll be water with mint or water with, some fruit in it. But as far as the community, the goal is like my neighbor next door. She, the first year, said, no, I don't want to be part of any garden walk because a lot of people are very private. But what has happened is we formed a bond, and she said, okay, Bernice. And she did it, and then the lady next door, and then they kept buying more plants, and then this lady down the street. You feel like you're traveling when you go into her yard, and she's proud of it. And the goal is for this to be an area that's beautiful, and hopefully Cleveland Clinic will help in making it an area where people know more about different health options, and perhaps they'll support some of these gardens and help us with even recipes or whatever that are healthy and nutritional. I think most people like a lot of the same things. I mean, you go to parks, you go to places of beauty, and you talk about places like, you talk about other cities that have have beautiful landscapes. Seattle, Washington is beautiful. California is beautiful. But whether you go there or go to some other place or not, most of us are empowered if we're aware of that power to create our own sanctuaries. And so even though I'm pro community gardens, I'm a garden advocate for individual gardens. And then I'm also an advocate for encouraging people to, why don't we do tea in your yard? Or why don't we, do something in yours? And then it becomes a little bit different. I think when you encourage, I think the only difference between a neighborhood that's empowered and a neighborhood that's not is pride, not resources. And so my goal as an advocate, a garden advocate or a change agent supporter, is to just remind people of how beautiful their yards are. And so the way I've gotten a lot of gardeners, I'll knock at their door and I'll say, thank you for your eye candy. And then I get to know them and I tell them that they have to be part of the garden walk. And a lot of them say no the first time. And after the third or fourth time, the majority will say yes. Now, there's some who you knock on their door, they say they think you're a politician or you're out for something. And I'm not out for anything. I'm just really complimenting their yard and encouraging them to share their spaces. And it's amazing the pride that people have when they share their space. However humble or however grand, if you got a few flowers in there, the next year you'll probably have a few more. And then some people, like one person went and I think they cheated. They went and hired somebody to do their yard and do whatever. My yard is lots of not everything, but it's a lot of stuff that got recycled. And it's also a lot of things from, I worked at a plant nursery. And for me, being at a plant nursery is like a kid being in a candy store. I didn't bring a dime home. I just bought flowers and trees home, or their products that they didn't want, and enjoyed planting them or purposing or whatever. And I encourage that for all. I think everybody's artistic in their own way, and it's beautiful to see the unique ways that people start celebrating their spaces. And one day, hopefully, the whole street, and the next street, and another street. Cleveland's a beautiful place to be when we claim the beauty. Now, I want to thank you all. You're the youth, okay? Middle youth. No, you're the youth, okay? And the beautiful thing, I'm glad you're here. A lot of our youth have left the city, okay? And they're not embracing what's here, the great, the city next to the Great Lakes. But to me, I'm in an oasis. I'm walking distance or bike riding distance to from the museums. My husband and I, we now that we're retired, we go to the Playhouse Theater, so we get our yearly tickets. Caremu is right there. We have land, and we're just in this old little house that I grew up in, and there's a memorial garden over there. Like I said, my parents they transitioned here, and I moved back to where I grew up, and I'm glad to be here.
Hi, my name is Tanya Marie Holmes, and the name of my garden center is Kayla Hillen Garden Center. Okay, well, let's see. In 2009, I asked a girlfriend of mine who I used to work with at the hospital if she had a space in her backyard that I could use to grow extra produce and flowers and plants because my backyard at home was kind of small. And she said, "Sure, you can have it." So, not seeing this yard in years, I'm thinking, okay, I just needed a 10 by 10 space. And she said, "Here's the keys. You can have it." And I'm thinking, what is she talking about? And so I turned, went around the corner because she lived on the premises of this property. And I came in and I'm thinking, what am I going to do with this space? It was tires in here, trash, debris, grass was 3 feet, 4 feet high. It was just like an empty abandoned lot pretty much. Her husband used to take care of it. He died, so she had no use for it. And so I told her that we had to do this legally. So we took care of the legal business and paid. I took care of the taxes and things. And I told my husband the next day, I'm like, let's go over here and see what we can do with this place. Bring the lawnmower because I know we need to cut some grass. And I brought 2 chairs, and at this point, all I wanted to use was just a little bit of space, and now I done got acquired a half an acre. So not knowing anything about anything with farming or gardening since I was a kid. Now, at this point, I was working the farmer's market on West 65th and Clinton at the time. That's why I needed some extra space because every Saturday at the farmer's market, I'm getting a chance to meet other people who's actually growing food. And I'm thinking, wow, I'm bringing flowers and I'm doing baked goods because that's what I specialize in. But now I can bring a few more things and make more money. So that was the purpose of inquiring about the 10 by 10 lot space that I only needed. And so I got the keys, came in through the through the gate, and I didn't know I was overwhelmed. I was kind of emotional, and I just took 2 chairs out of my husband's truck, sat down for about an hour to figure out what I'm going to do with this space because it was just a mess. So I said, okay, I wanted to grow some vegetables over here. I want the middle to only be flowers and bushes and trees. I want to do some pollinators because we want to protect the bees and the butterflies. So that's kind of how that started. And you couldn't even see the concrete that we're standing on. We didn't even know it was concrete. That's how overwhelmed it was with bushes and vines and things. So until we started cleaning up every chance we got, we would come over here, do the cleanup. The neighbors would not speak to us. They would just wave. They wouldn't speak. I guess they figuring what are they going to do with that? It's been a mess for so long. These are all new homes over here. Most of these people work for the city or federal government, so they tired of looking at this ugly space. So I'm thinking, okay, so I'm paying attention to the community, and I realized that there's some things that shouldn't be going on that was going on. So as of today, it's a quiet street. The property value over here has gone up because we've been here. We've brought back a lot of bees. I brought back a lot of butterflies. We now have deer walking next to the fence thinking they want to come in and eat up everything. So we try to bring back nature back to our community. At the same time, I decided, okay, this is a lot of work for me and my husband. I'm getting the grandson coming. He's 3 years old. He's working like a 10-year-old. So he's 13 now. He's been with me all summer because he's been with me since he was 3 working over here. So he was a big help. It's a lot of work doing farming and gardening. So I realized maybe I can sign up with YOU and maybe get some kids in the summertime to help with some of the work. So that's what I've been doing since 2014. 2015. I've been getting YOU kids in the summer, up to 32 kids in the summer, and we teach them how to grow food, identify what seeds look like, how big seeds are, when to plant it, how to plant it. We start off in pots and then we go and put some in a high tunnel when necessary. So that's how we kind of started off with. My girlfriend owned a lot, and she didn't realize that this is 3 partials, and out of the 3 partials, because she hadn't taken care of it, out of the 3, 1 was already in foreclosure. And so when I went downtown to take care of the paperwork, they said, "Hey, did you want that one too?" I said, "Well, it's already connected, of course." So the taxes I took, it was kind of high. I took care of the taxes and got rid of those taxes on this property, and the rest is history.
Um, what is truly, would you say, is truly special about this neighborhood? What is really working here, and what are some of the challenges?
Some of the challenges right now today is it's a quiet street for the most part. People are homeowners over here, and everybody mind their business and stay to themselves. And it's kind of like a community in a sense. But one of the issues we're having now is you get new people come in and buy a home, and it doesn't occur to them, wow, this is a nice street. This is a quiet street. I just bought a house over here. Let's continue that. They don't look at life that way. So they bring their drama over here too, putting grills on the porch and kids playing in the street when it's a park 3 doors down. It's those are some of the challenges. Trash day come, your trash is out 3 days before trash day when legally you're supposed to put it out the night before or that morning. So there's some challenges. Crime has it went from crime being 100% terrible to having no crime at all. There has been dead bodies on the street at one point. Prostitution was going on before we got here, and now we've gotten rid of all of those things. You know, the drugs, the prostitution. I'm the president of the community block club over here, so we take care of the park as much as we can. It's gotten kind of overwhelming lately because some of the members of the block club are now older and they not can't come out and do anything or have died and passed on. So I was just telling some of the neighbors this morning. They were telling me some of the concerns that they having at night over here with some of the new people. And so I'm going to be working on a newsletter or to get out to them as soon as possible. And I know city council city council member that's over here, Richard Starr, has been here before with one of his community events. They want to come back again and bring the community out so he can have some of these issues addressed that people are having in the community.
What would you say is working?
What's working is me being here because I started to give up because we've had some theft several times, and I felt like I've been here so long and I'm doing so much for the community. Like we've gave out school supplies and book bags over here. We did census application and process. We did voter registration here. We've had jazz in the garden here. We did wine tasting here. We did Juneteenth events here. We blocked the street off. I'm on the police board, so the police come and celebrate. City council celebrates. I have some of my friends are state representatives. They've been here and celebrated. So we've had all these different events here for the community to come out. And it's a place where people that's like, oh my God, it's like this lady here that just came. She owns several properties in this community. And she just pops up, just to talk. And so it's a community. We need that in our community. People to look after each other and check on each other.
Or would you just
Well,
say or is it both?
my background is nursing, over 40 plus years, so I know people pretty well. And what I've learned in this new era we are in now is that some people can't take criticism, and some people don't know how to uh, do better when they can do better. They want to stay stuck in where they are. And so I have a tendency to do a lot of events to bring people together so we can kind of let everybody know we love you. You know what I mean? It's okay. It's going to be all right. You can do better. There's some changes. What do you need? People call me all the time. Miss Holmes, I'm looking for a job. Miss Holmes, I'm looking for some place to live. Miss Holmes, and I'm a resource person. So people come here. She probably wanted some information because I know she was having some issues with crime on nearby, and I'm on the police committee, and so we had made some suggestions to her. So when we have certain events that's benefiting the community, it's just unfortunate that the people who live the closest don't participate. You live on the west side, you be over here with getting a free book bag. When I ask the people, where you come from? You live in the community? Oh, I live from Lawrenceville. How'd you find out we were giving book bags? Oh, I saw it on Facebook. Oh, I saw it on the internet somewhere. You get all these people from everywhere to come get the resources, but the people who live over here, you put a flyer at their door or you verbally say, hey, we're going to have something next week, they won't show up. And then they show up when it's over with, some of them. So that's some of the challenges. If people actually participate and thinking, hey, somebody trying to help you. Well, I like I said, I've been a nurse for over 40 something years. I retired in 2006 because of a back injury that led me paralyzed, that I couldn't walk. I had to learn how to walk. It took a year for that. Therefore, the next thing I did, besides feeling sorry for myself, was get a new computer and start figuring it out. And that led me to being one of the East Side locations for Barack Obama's campaign, which in my house personally, my house where I live today, I've had over 5,000 people come to my house to get packages. So I sent them out to knock on doors and different things. I had an office in the Broadway area, where people would come and sign up and volunteer and do phone banking and different things. So I'm a community person already. I've been like that since I was a teenager. When I lived in New York City, I helped the first black mayor of New York City, David Dinkins, get to become mayor. So I'm community based. I love to find out what's going on because no matter what happens in our community, we live in our community. You know what I'm saying? We can't keep saying, well, the mayor not doing anything or the president not doing. I always say, what have you done? Did you clean up your front yard? Did you make sure that your trash was good? The senior that lives next door to you, did you check on her? So I always start at home. You start at home and start in your community. Like I was saying to you earlier, I found out that you are a beautiful artist. So my first suggestion to you is get a space and do what you got to do. Don't hold on it. Hold on to that talent. Let somebody else see what you're doing. Somebody else out here is probably doing this, want to do the same thing, and they can look up to you. So when people come to me and say, Miss Holmes, I've been homeless for 4 years. Do you know anything about housing? Probably do, because I keep in touch with different organizations and different people to find out the resources. There's been times when I've actually went downtown to our city hall for take care of some business, and I'm thinking, wow, there's a table down here. The table it had to be 20 feet plus, and I said, let me go see what these flyers is on the table. I go and look. They got free hot dogs and free soda for kids if you go skating. But how are the kids going to find out about it? It's in City Hall. Those people in City Hall that lives in there live in different communities. That's right. But are they taking these flyers and sending them out in the community that needs to be? So I would be that person that take a whole bunch of them at one time, stick them in my big old bag, and then take them into the community. Hey, they're giving out free hot dogs, and if you go skating, that's just me. I'm not going to blame somebody for not doing it. I'm just going to be the person that do it. It's always been that way. Senior citizens can get free paint to paint their back of their houses or their garages or their basements. How many people know that? They're not on the internet. They're not finding out from the website. Unless you send them a flyer or something through the mail or verbally by face to face, they're not going to know that these programs are out here. So I just became, okay, well, I'll just add that to my list. And now I got such a big list. Such a big list. It comes natural to me now. Well, that town hall that you came to, that was my second town hall. And I felt like some of the resources that we have here in Ohio for urban farmers and gardeners, it's not getting it to the people who need it. And so what happens is if there's a $75 million grant available for people in that space, How are they going to find out about it? One, who they going to talk to about it? And then and then the list gets bigger. And so I started making phone calls and going on my Facebook page and finding out who are urban farmers, who's the urban farmers, who's the gardeners, and asking them, hey, how your farm going and what do you need? And listen to so many people. Everybody had the same issues. No one's helping us. No one's helping us with water. No one's, I don't know how to file a grant application. I don't know how, all these things. And I'm thinking, okay, so I decided to call up those resources and say, we need you to come and talk about where the resources are. So my next move is getting the same resources, making a list of it, and then having the actual farmers and gardeners meet me in a space where computers are set up, and we're going to figure out how to do a Dunn's number. We're going to figure out how to do a Sam's number. We're going to figure out how to fill out an application for $72 million. You see what I'm saying? We're going to figure out, what do you need to start a business? Do you have a business plan? How you do taxes? All those things, because see, people get into urban farming thinking, I'm just going to grow some space, some vegetables. I'm just going to be healthy, help my community. But then once you go past the third or fourth year, you realize this is becoming something bigger than it when you originally thought it would be. Now it's a business now. So that's where I was. I never thought I was going to do it. I was trying to open up a bed and breakfast and stick to the nursing situation thing and be happy. But that that didn't happen. So because I was working at the farmer's market, I'm thinking, okay. And then when I got the property, I'm thinking, what am I going to do with this property? And it just became bigger and bigger. Farmer of the Year for the state of Ohio, Humanitarian Award from Alpha Kappa Alpha. Just like all the accolades started coming, and I didn't even realize it. I was just doing the work. Just doing the work. It comes natural to me because I'm a talker. Told you that. I'm a talker. I'm born in Cleveland, raised in the Bronx, New York City. I've been in New York over 35. My son is 40, be 41 this week. So he was born and raised in New York. So I've been in New York. I've been around every culture of people that you can think of. I used to speak 3 languages. I can only remember 2 of them now, if that. I love to cook, so I like to be around people. I'm the oldest out of 8 kids, siblings. I have other siblings. There's 8 of us. I'm the oldest. So I'm used to being around people. I'm used to helping people. And so just because I'm not doing nursing, I didn't turn it off because I want to do community stuff. You talked about soil?
Like some people talk about how rich the soil is in some of these urban communities,
Well,
but also how rich it is because of the people who are in this.
well, first thing first, this is Ohio. This is Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland, Ohio is a huge commodity because of the lake. Because of our lake, we have different organizations, different people from all around the world trying to move into Cleveland. But us Clevelanders, some of us don't realize that. We are into something beautiful here. You look at global warming that's going on right now, and all the states is getting too hot, or the levels of water is getting too warm. We have a lake here. That's going to be here. We're close to Canada. That's good. That's a good thing. As far as the soil is concerned, when you start off as an urban farmer or a gardener, you better make sure you know what you're doing with your soil. You just can't just put some food in the ground and expect it to grow and be not poisonous, so to speak. You want to get your soil tested as soon as possible if you're going to be doing something in the ground. I always tell people, start off in pots so you know how to grow it, what to grow it, how big, what you can take care of. I always tell tomatoes is the easiest thing to grow because they love water, they love sun. You know what I mean? So far as the soil is concerned, we have good soil here because it's mixed. It's got clay in it, it's got sand in it. It's great for different things you want to grow, but you better do a soil test before anything.